Well, less than 24 hours after the Fox Business debate wrapped up, and Senators Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz are getting high marks for both substance and style. Political reporting, Rubio and Cruz shine at fourth GOP debate. The Daily Caller declaring Cruz and Rubio win debate and foreshadow a coming clash. And the New York Times providing its take on what could be next for the two GOP contenders. Confrontation brews as Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio vie for conservative vote. Watch.
Here's the best way to raise wages. Make America the best place in the world to start a business or expand an existing business. Tax reform and regulatory reform. Bring our debt under control. Fully utilize our energy resources so we can reinvigorate manufacturing. Repeal and replace Obamacare. And make higher education faster and easier to access, especially vocational training. For the life of me, I don't know why we have stigmatized vocational education. Welders make more money than philosophers. We need more welders and less philosophers. And if we do that...
I understand that when the mainstream media covers immigration, it doesn't often see it as an economic issue. But I can tell you for millions of Americans at home watching this, it is a very personal economic issue. And I will say the politics of it would be very, very different if a bunch of lawyers or bankers were crossing the Rio Grande.
We can't even have an economy if we're not safe. There are radical jihadists in the Middle East beheading people and crucifying Christians. A radical Shia cleric in Iran trying to get a nuclear weapon. The Chinese taking over the South China Sea. Yes, I believe the world is a safer... No, I don't believe. I know that the world is a safer and better place when America is the strongest military power in the world.
We have to defend this nation. You think defending this nation is expensive, try not defending it. That's a lot more expensive, but you can do that and pay for it. You can do that and also be fiscally responsible.
And we're joined now by our panel of voters with their reactions to last night's debate. These are Republican voters, so they are going to actually have a say on who gets their nomination. Great to see you all tonight. Thank you. All right, so first of all, raise your hand if you think Senator Marco Rubio won that debate. Raise your hand if you think Ted Cruz did. Raise your hand if you think Ben Carson did. Donald Trump. Rand Paul. Chris Christie? That was a trick question. He was in the undercard. All right, so a lot of Marco Rubio believers over here. Why?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that really impressed me as a prosecutor about Marco Rubio is his attention to national security. And the answer you just showed, I mean, he cares about keeping our community safe. And you can't do that if you don't have a strong military. So at the end of the Rand Paul Rubio dust-up, as you put it last night, he really emerged as the winner because you can't justify in an age of terror not making sure we have a strong military that our communities are kept safe.
So let me ask you this. Rubio and Cruz have both been very smooth at these debates. You know, they're sort of slow and steady wins the race. That seems to be their approach. They have nice moments. They don't really, step in it too badly. But does that mean you're going to vote for them? Has that swayed anybody to say, he's a good orator, he's a good debater, and I was once leaning one way, but now I want to vote for him because he impresses me in the debates? Go ahead, Rocco.
Yes, it made me look and think Marco Rubio speaks very well and Ted Cruz speaks very well, just like you said, good debater, good orator, but it didn't convince me to vote for them, though. Marco Rubio just seems to come across like somebody who's extremely book smart, but doesn't really have any practical life knowledge. That's the way I felt about it. Cruz is a senator. He has no experience. He has good ideas, but Neil Cavuto brought up a very good point that I was thinking about watching him. He's disagreed with everyone. He's fought with everyone. We have that now in the White House. So what will he bring different to the White House? How is he going to get things done?
You want somebody who's going to get along with others? Are you really a Republican?
Yes, I am. But he will get along less than everyone else. Let's put it that way.
Go ahead, Ethan.
Well, Megyn, look, I disagree with just about everybody on Marco Rubio. I thought he sounded like a third grader at a Christmas play with all the rehearsed lines. So it didn't sound genuine to me at all. Ted Cruz was a far better orator. He's a much better debater. Does that mean I'm ready to commit to anybody yet? Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I disagree with Rocco a little bit about Ted Cruz. Although it's not his orating skills that really impressed me. It's the fact that he does stand up to both parties. He's a principled man. He exhibits leadership qualities when he's at these debates. He did it the last time when he put the moderators in check. And those are qualities we need in a leader. I need somebody who's going to say, these are my principles, and I will stand behind them.
Marjorie, go ahead.
I wasn't looking for oration. This was a policy-oriented debate, and frankly, I wasn't convinced about Ted Cruz's idea of reducing the Department of Commerce.
Who'd you
Really?
like? Twice. He wants
Twice.
to
He
eliminate them
twice.
twice. He told us later that he meant to say Department of Education the second time. But who did you like last night?
I mean, I like Rubio. I liked Rubio from the beginning. I like Rubio now, but I was really, really listening for tax reform, foreign policy. I don't really care about speech anymore. What are these people going to do? They have to face Hillary in a few months.
Anthony, go ahead.
I think Cruz, hands down, the more he speaks, the smarter he is, that we can see it coming out of him. And as a single-issue voter, Cruz is all I have.
What's your issue?
Second Amendment, all the way. And Cruz is
he's your favorite.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Cruz is a guy who has a debate award named after him. He won 9 cases in front of the Supreme Court.
That's right.
He showed his skills last night. Rubio surprised me, but I expected that from both of them. Rubio made me forget about the bottle of water at the.
But does it mean that they're going to be a good president? Because a lot of Barack Obama's detractors say he was the most skilled orator we've seen, and they don't like him as president.
Would you rather
go ahead, you in the front.
Yes, I actually. All of these people saying, oh, well, he's not experienced, trying to compare him to Obama. I think it's completely the opposite of it. I think he's reinforced
Rubio
last
or
night.
Cruz?
No, Ted Cruz, I'm sorry. I think Cruz completely reinforced the point of why people should vote for him. He was full of substance. He gave a lot of details. And there's that fire. We need a fighter who's going to say, you know what, to the establishment. And
Speaking of fire.
Yes.
Did anybody think Jeb Bush won the debate?
No.
Oh,
Worse.
look,
Worse.
John is back. John, why?
Well, it's quite simple. I think he laid out a very, very clear plan, very eloquently, on regulatory reform, on tax reform, and on immigration, and how we can move to a skills-based immigration system that can actually improve the labor force participation rate and grow the economy. I think the economy is the most important.
He is nothing
issue
if not
in this
loyal.
debate.
Before we wrap this, I want to ask you, Katrina. So now Katrina, our friend Katrina, has actually been made Trump's national spokesperson for his campaign. So congratulations. Now she gets actually paid to represent him. But so I know you kind of have to say that you thought he won. But specifically why? Because he wasn't as big a factor in this debate.
Well, and I think that's a good thing. He doesn't really have to be, does he? I just heard everybody talk about the reasons why being a great orator with no experience, is that a good thing or a bad thing? You're talking about 2 lawyers who argue for a living, who try to convince other people that they are right. And Trump has been on top along with Carson because they are not your typical lawyer politician. And Trump held his own last night. I think he stood firm with immigration. That is a driving force in the party. And you can't have an honest discussion about the U.S. economy without addressing illegal immigration.
And that is where we're going. We're going to that subject next. So stand by because there's much, much more to get to.